Hello and welcome to r/AskReddit by Reddit Reader. Today's question is, what are some not fun facts? The smell of vomit comes from butyric acid, as does the smell of Parmesan cheese. When given a sample of butyric acid to smell, test subjects were disgusted or pleased depending on whether they were told it was puke or parm. So you're saying that if I ate a whole ton of Parmesan cheese and then threw up, it would be the most vomit-smelling thing ever? For generations, the indigenous peoples of South America used blow darts laced with paralytic plant extract to hunt their prey. In the 1800s, English physicians who interacted with these indigenous South Americans recognized the possible uses of this paralytic agent, now known as tubercularine, as an anesthetic agent for surgeries. Physicians noticed that animals under the influence of tubercularine would become temporarily immobilized but would recover after a period of paralysis. According to these physicians, this discovery would revolutionize surgery as an anesthetic agent. So confident were they in their discovery that one of the physicians volunteered to undergo surgery under the influence of tubercularine to demonstrate its effectiveness. Unfortunately, he failed to realize that, although the drug was an effective paralyzing agent, it did not have any effect on the sensory receptors of the body. So he felt every cut of the surgery without being able to move or do anything about it. When another elephant dies, its pack make a little funeral for it. They pick rocks and put it around the body, and stand there for a while before they keep the way. They also stroke the corpses with their trunks. And when they migrate back to areas where they've buried loved ones, they hold a little memorial service. This is a good, happy fact. A fun fact. Horses can't throw up. If they need to throw up, they'll die. If you shine a flashlight smartphone on a newborn sea turtle for too long, which could be only minutes, it will start crawling around in circles, known as the ring of death. It means that the turtle's eyesight has been permanently damaged due to mistaking your lights for the moon that guides it to the sea. By doing this, you have doomed the sea turtle to death right after birth. Heroin overdose is so prevalent and dangerous because of how fast tolerance bounces back. So let's say an addict gets arrested and is in jail for a few days, weeks, whatever. If they are a heavy user, even half the dose they last used could kill them. I actually heard an interesting thing about heroin overdose during a lecture. Taking heroin in a different place or different kind of place can actually lead to overdoses. Basically, it's like Pavlov's dog. When you have the same ritual, including place, your body actually prepares itself. I assume heart rate change, etc., and has situation-specific tolerance. You have it somewhere without the ritual and your body doesn't do that preparation, meaning you have less tolerance to the drug, even if it's the same dose as normal. Fascinating concept. There is a whale called 52 Blue who sings at such a strange frequency he is unable to communicate with other whales. When it comes to heart disease, the very first symptom in roughly 1/3 of all cases is sudden death. Meaning you could be perfectly healthy and drop dead because you had heart disease and didn't know it. Check your family history, people. Yup. My old man was 64, ate healthy, ran every day, had an old guy six-pack, didn't drink or smoke, and loved his job. One day he just literally fell over dead. Silent ischemia. If you have a pneumothorax, collapsed lung, even once it's resolved, you can never go scuba diving. Also, there's a 1 in 3 chance it will happen again within 12 months. But yeah, I can never, ever, go scuba diving. Criminals that are considered unattractive usually receive a 50% longer jail time than attractive criminals. Attractiveness in general makes life so much easier. It's like a difficulty sliding scale. The hotter you are, the easier it is. It's super interesting and concerning. Whenever I'm riding down the road, I always play a game where I guess the attractiveness of the driver or occupants based on the niceness of the car. It's so stupidly easy and weird when you think about it. Every single old beater, save for very, very rare occasions, has an unattractive driver. If I see a nice car or truck, almost always an average attractive driver. Look at studies on wealth. The more attractive and tall you are, the more likely you are to be wealthy. Workplace. The hotter you are, the more people respect you. More promotions, likability, etc. Friends. Same deal. People want to associate with people like themselves, and if they can befriend hotties, then it reflects on them. It's why kids are told you are who you hang with. I guess it's not that surprising, but it's interesting how something so arbitrary in today's society is valued in every single aspect of life. Some whales, when old, no longer have enough strength to swim for as long, so if they swim too deep, they might not have enough strength to swim back up to get air, so they end up drowning. Edit. Some people smarter than I have pointed out that they technically don't drown, but instead suffocate from the lack of air. This is apparently because whales have to manually breathe instead of it being done automatically, and their death creates a whole new ecosystem like meaty dead coral reef brimming with life. On the topic of dead whales, whenever they die and their bodies reach the surface, they will eventually explode like a balloon. The wondrous smell you get while cutting grass is actually a chemical distress signal. You're smelling the silent screams of your lawn. It makes me sneeze. Our brethren may be dead, but with any luck, we'll signal the others to prepare, and maybe we will overcome this predator. The glass cat sneezes, behold our might. There's a plant in Australia called the Jimpy tree that has hairs all over it that are small enough and are compared to hypodermic needles. And whenever a person touches the plant, these hairs stick into your skin and inject a toxin that causes a pain compared to the affected area being covered in acid and set on fire. And what makes it worse is that the pain lasts months to years. The sun occasionally lets out supermassive bursts of plasma energy called coronal mass ejections. These could knock out our satellites, power grid and internet for decades. One barely missed us in 2012, and another has about a 10% chance of happening in the next 10 years. I've also heard though that we can prepare ahead of time by shutting down electricity for a few days when the strike hits. So people may be without power for a few days, but it wouldn't destroy infrastructure. You're correct there. It's also worth noting that we've gotten way better at monitoring these things. We would know it's happening far before it struck us. At the very least, with a worldwide blackout, and the effect a CME has on our planet's magnetic field, the northern lights would be seen from everywhere, and be brilliantly beautiful. You may have heard on several occasions that coal-fired plants release more radiation than a nuclear plants, and it's true, but the reason why is a bit disturbing. Nuclear power plants are closed systems, so whatever radiation that comes from it has to punch its way through several tons of steel and concrete. Coal-fired plants are not closed systems. They dig stuff out of the ground and burn it, releasing all waste to the air. Coal goes through very minimal processing before it's burned compared to other sources of fuel. After it is dug, the coal is washed, and mostly that gets rid of impurities such as sulfur and rocks of various minerals. However, there always remains a trace of impurities, and those impurities can be made up of naturally occurring radioactive elements, such as radium. The presence of radium in coal is usually in very small trace amounts, but when a coal-fired plant burns 9,000 tons of coal every day, it adds up, which means it releases more radiation than a nuclear power plant. And it's more dangerous because that radiation is coming from particles that are just out there, floating around in the air, which you can inhale BTW. The outside of your eye prevents your immune system from ever knowing about the inside of your eye. If a puncture allows the two to meet, your immune system may attack and destroy your eye as an invader. Terms for the horrified who cling to their skepticism as a shield against acknowledging this unfun fact to Google. Immune privilege of the eye. You're welcome. And that's why if one eye gets damaged and goes blind, you can lose both eyes. The immune system attacks the other intact eye, causing it to go blind. That's even less fun than the original fact. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more Reddit content.